Tibetan Philosophy Part 3 of 3. Chapter 1. Philosophy and Life. Tibetan philosophy is not confined to the rarefied air of monasteries or the pages of ancient texts. It is woven into the daily lives of the Tibetan people, shaping their values, customs, and responses to the challenges of existence. In the bustling markets of Lhasa, the remote villages of Amdo, and the wind-swept plateaus of Kham, the principles of emptiness, interdependence, and compassion are lived realities. From a young age, Tibetans are introduced to the core teachings through stories, proverbs, and rituals. The spinning of prayer wheels, the recitation of mantras, and the making of offerings are not mere superstitions, but acts imbued with philosophical meaning. Each gesture is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all beings and the impermanence of life. Even the act of drinking tea or sharing zampa carries with it a sense of community and mutual support, reflecting the Buddhist ideal of interdependence. Chapter 2. The Monastic World. Monasteries have long been the heart of Tibetan intellectual and spiritual life. These institutions are not only centers of worship but also universities, libraries, and laboratories for the mind. The monastic curriculum is rigorous, covering the 5 great topics: logic and epistemology, perfection of wisdom, the middle way, monastic discipline, and metaphysics. Monks and nuns dedicate years, sometimes decades, to the study of logic, debate, and meditation. In the courtyards of Sira, Drepung, and Ganden, monks engage in animated exchanges, clapping their hands to punctuate arguments and challenge their peers. Debate is a central feature of monastic education. These debates are not mere intellectual exercises. They're designed to sharpen the mind, clarify understanding, and cultivate the ability to see through illusion to the heart of reality. Meditation, too, is central. Practices such as shamatha and vipassana are complemented by advanced tantric techniques, visualization, and yogic exercises. The goal is not only intellectual mastery, but the direct realization of the nature of mind and the cultivation of boundless compassion. Chapter 3. Lay Practice and Pilgrimage. While monastic life is central, the people also play a vital role in the preservation and transmission of Tibetan philosophy. Tibet is dotted with sacred sites, mountains, lakes, caves, and temples. For many Tibetans, the path of wisdom is pursued alongside the demands of family, work, and community. These journeys are not only physical but spiritual, embodying the Buddhist path of renunciation, perseverance, and realization. Lay practitioners engage in daily rituals, recite prayers, and participate in festivals that mark the cycles of the year. Pilgrimage is a powerful expression of lay devotion and philosophical commitment. Thankas, mandalas, and statues are not merely decorative, but serve as teaching tools and aids to meditation, each associated with legendary teachers and miraculous events. Pilgrims undertake arduous journeys, often prostrating themselves for miles, as acts of purification and merit-making. Chapter 4. Art, Symbolism, and the Visual Language of Philosophy. Tibetan art is a visual expression of philosophical ideas. The concept of the bardo, or intermediate state, is central to Tibetan Buddhist teachings. Each image is rich with symbolism, depicting deities, bodhisattvas, and cosmic diagrams that represent the structure of reality and the stages of the path. Rituals for the dying, instructions for the dead, and meditations on impermanence are integral to Tibetan culture. The creation of a sand mandala, for example, is a profound meditation on impermanence. Monks spend days or weeks painstakingly constructing intricate designs only to sweep them away upon completion, reminding all who witness the process of the transience of worldly phenomena. The colors, shapes, and iconography of Tibetan art are carefully chosen to convey philosophical truths and inspire contemplation. Chapter 5. Death, Dying, and the Bardo. Tibetan philosophy offers a unique perspective on death and the afterlife. According to texts such as the Bardo Thodol, known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, consciousness continues after physical death, passing through a series of transitional states before rebirth. These teachings are not abstract speculation, but practical guides for living and dying. The aim is to prepare individuals to face death with awareness, to recognize the illusory nature of experience, to seize the opportunity for self-liberation. The philosophical view of death as a transition rather than an end shapes Tibetan attitudes toward loss, grief, and the meaning of life itself. It encourages a fearless engagement with the realities of existence and a deep compassion for all beings caught in the cycle of birth and death. Chapter 6. The Encounter with the Modern World. The 20th century brought unprecedented challenges and changes to Tibetan society. The Chinese invasion of Tibet in 1950, the subsequent diaspora, and the global spread of Tibetan Buddhism have profoundly affected the transmission and practice of Tibetan philosophy. In exile, Tibetan teachers have established monasteries, schools, and cultural centers around the world. The Dalai Lama, as both a spiritual and political leader, has become a global ambassador for Tibetan values. Engaging in dialogue with scientists, philosophers, and leaders of other faiths, his emphasis on universal responsibility, secular ethics, and the cultivation of compassion has resonated far beyond the Tibetan community. Tibetan philosophy has also entered into conversation with modern science, particularly in the fields of psychology, neuroscience, and consciousness studies. Dialogues between Tibetan lamas and Western scientists have explored the nature of mind, the effects of meditation, and the possibilities for human flourishing. These exchanges have enriched both traditions, highlighting the relevance of ancient wisdom in addressing contemporary questions. Chapter 7. Tibetan Philosophy in the West. The transmission of Tibetan philosophy to the West has been one of the most remarkable cultural exchanges of the modern era. Western students, scholars, and practitioners have embraced Tibetan teachings, translating texts, founding centers, and integrating Buddhist principles into fields as diverse as psychotherapy, education, and environmentalism. The popularity of mindfulness, compassion training, and contemplative practices owes much to Tibetan influence. Teachers such as Chegyam, Trungpa, Pema, Chidren, and the Dalai Lama have introduced millions to the transformative power of Tibetan thought. At the same time, Western engagement has prompted new questions and adaptations. As ancient teachings are reinterpreted in light of modern values and challenges, rooted in ancient wisdom, it remains open to new ideas, experiences, and challenges. This encounter has not been without tension. Issues of cultural appropriation, authenticity, and the commercialization of spirituality have sparked debate. Tibetan and Western perspectives continue to generate fresh insights and possibilities for mutual enrichment. Chapter 8. Contemporary Debates and Challenges. Tibetan philosophy today faces both opportunities and challenges. The preservation of language, texts, and traditions is an urgent concern, especially in the face of political repression and cultural assimilation. At the same time, the global spread of Tibetan Buddhism has opened new avenues for dialogue, innovation, and cross-cultural understanding. Contemporary Tibetan thinkers grapple with questions of identity, modernity, and the role of tradition in a rapidly changing world. It is a living path, walked by countless individuals in monasteries, homes, and communities across the globe. Debates over the interpretation of key doctrines, the place of women in religious life, and the relationship between science and spirituality reflect the dynamism of the tradition. The resilience of Tibetan philosophy lies in its capacity for adaptation, its core values, compassion, wisdom, and the recognition of interdependence. Chapter 9. The Enduring Legacy. As we reflect on the journey of Tibetan philosophy, from its ancient roots to its global presence, we see a tradition that is both timeless and timely. Its teachings on the nature of reality, the cultivation of compassion, and the transformation of consciousness continue to inspire seekers around the world. Tibetan philosophy invites us to look beyond the surface of things, to question our assumptions, and to engage with the world from a place of wisdom and care. It challenges us to recognize our interconnectedness, to act with kindness, and to pursue the highest possibilities of human life. Chapter 10. A Living Path. The story of Tibetan philosophy is far from over. Its wisdom is not locked in the past but alive in the present, guiding new generations toward understanding, compassion, and liberation. As we conclude this exploration, we are reminded that the true measure of a philosophy lies not in its complexity or antiquity, but in its power to transform lives. Tibetan philosophy, with its profound insights and practical guidance, continues to illuminate the way for all who seek truth, meaning, and freedom.